And now it's time for another edition of What Would Jello Do? President Joe Biden, the last 100 days, part 5. A while back, he said, what we need to do is win the 21st century. What does that even mean? Win the 21st century? We just need to survive it. The number one national security issue, and the Pentagon studies agree with us now, it is not Russia. China's not the biggest threat to our national security, or Muslim fanatics, or immigrants, or even dirty Donald Trump. It's climate collapse. That is the biggest national security threat. It should be treated that way, and our insanely high military budget should be routed towards helping fix this long term so we don't burn like Rome. Yeah, because we kind of already are. To cap global warming at the, I guess, tipping point, or we're tipping now 1.5 degrees centigrade, the report claims that fossil fuel production must drop 6% every year until the year 2030. Right now, instead, it's increasing by 2% every year. We don't have time to let the market sort it out. There are no market-based solutions. Market is what's causing a lot of the problems, after all. There's a point where, how much more big and growth do you need to have when it's doing this? Growth is not everything. And if it takes putting the military and all the money we waste on the military to work on all these infrastructure upgrades, high-speed railway tracks, clean up of all these toxic sites and making them more livable, restoring wetlands, you name it, so be it. Just get it done. Governments have already stepped in Europe to winterize every building they can get their hands on so we don't lose so much heat and so much power, contributing to climate collapse, and can save it, not use up as much power. Don't wait for the market. That's a national security issue. We got to thank Elon Musk. We got to give Elon Musk credit for one thing, at least. He did make electric cars cool. But do we have anywhere near enough charging stations for electric cars traveling longer distances on the roads? Have we even started on that yet? We can't wait for Chevron and Exxon and Arco to have their little mini marts and Circle K's and AMPMs. Put in a few more. You got to put them in now, and put more of them in now. And do not let all the horrible things Putin has done goad you into going crazy to refill Europeans' oil needs with reviving drilling and fracking on an insane scale all over again, just to export it over there and replace Russian oil and gas. The better solution is to use less oil and gas, home and abroad. This means going after the banks, too. The amount of money, dollars, that the world's biggest banks have pumped into fossil fuels since the 2015 Paris Agreement, $4.6 trillion. That's got to stop. Japan is still talking about dumping 1 million tons of hopelessly radioactive polluted water from Fukushima into our oceans. And we all know where those currents go. They eventually wind up accompanying the debris from that horrible earthquake and tsunami and everything washing up on shores here. Do we really want radioactive water killing everything too? Every country, including China, is coming down on Japan for even thinking something like this. But meanwhile, at Blinky's Fun Club, our Secretary of State Blinken has said, all he said is, we thank Japan for its transparent efforts. That does not cut it. And if that's your attitude, No, you people don't deserve to be reelected. And it's not just third world that needs more and more COVID vaccines. There's way more who need the RTS-5, I think it's called, malaria vaccine. We have a chance to go after malaria if we don't wait for market-based solutions from markets who don't care if people in third world countries live or die. So far, only 800,000 people in 3 countries have been able to get the malaria vaccine. We need to get that in hundreds of millions of arms. Thank you very much. And I hope we don't have the same problem that Europe has had with airlines since COVID running all these so-called ghost flights where they'd put a crew on but not let any passengers on just to keep the flights flying back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean like Lufthansa does so they don't lose their gate slot numbers in airports. There's got to be a way to prevent that. After all, it's the European Union who now, as of 2021, has an EU-wide ban on single-use plastics, which we badly need over here now that we know how much of that is getting into everybody's bloodstream, our hearts, our brains, our sexual organs, etc. Single-use plastics like forks, plates, straws, and styrofoam containers and things. Yeah. Banned. Gotta do it. And how many Donald J. Trump-a-muck, Ryan Zinke, Scott Pruitt, Rick Perry, you name it, executive orders they did quietly, eviscerating environmental protections, labor protections, big and small, behind everybody's backs. How many have people not even found yet that need to be overturned right now? There's thousands of them. I worry they've barely scratched the surface. The endangered species list, how many other animals need to be put back on that? Already, through not appealing a court thing, we've got the gray wolf back on there. Don't go crazy killing wolves. We do need to go crazy killing pythons. Tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, some as big as almost 20 feet, are loose in Florida, especially in the Everglades now, wiping out or close to wiping out all kinds of, species that are already endangered, including Florida panther, and bobcats have declined by something like 70 to 80%. Birds, smaller manatees who are already in danger, they're all getting killed by these, and the tegu lizards from Argentina running amok now. This is where you got to call out the National Guard, soldiers, whatever, and get them out of there as fast as you can. Not like a 10-day or 1-week hunt every year. Just get them out of there. Navy SEALs, anyone? Get them out of there. The National Park Service needs to deny any thought of a drilling permit for oil in the Big Cypress National Preserve in Florida, which also is panther territory. There's hardly any of them left. And it's 40% of the water that moves southward into the Everglades. Don't allow drilling there when we shouldn't be drilling anymore anyway. More pipelines to get rid of, like the Mountain Valley Pipeline that would go across 183 streams through Virginia and West Virginia, coastal wetland, all for fracked gas. Fish and Wildlife Service said no, but the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, with still with a lot of Trump people in it, said yes. That has to be resolved in favor of life. Be pro-life, be pro-animal life, as well as human life, as well as plant life, wetland life, you name it. That also applies to something the Senate has passed, I don't know about the House, and no, it hasn't been signed, the Drift Net Modernization and Bay Catch Reduction Act. So all the endangered sea turtles and dolphins and everything else caught in those great big nets where they're only looking for a few kinds of fish, you can't do that anymore. And follow the lead of French President Emmanuel Macron on stopping deep sea strip mining. That can't just be in coastal territorial waters. It's got to be all over the ocean from the UN. You can't just start ripping that stuff open when you don't know what you're going to do with do with the tailings, and they may just wash away. And how many species that we don't even know exist is that going to kill? Not to mention the plankton and the krill that things like whales feed on. You can't strip mine the deep, no matter how many more rare earth minerals you want to get your hands on for people's phones and things. And also take on and reduce sonar pollution in the ocean, including the Navy's seismic testing and things going on in the Gulf of Mexico. The great big ships rolling over and things like that. Needless to say, it's spooking things like whales so damn bad they're not having sex with each other as much anymore. They're just spooked. And again, don't give up on high-speed rail. We need it so badly, and trains are so much fun anyway. Take a train trip, as I said before, whistle-stop tour. I know he wants to build it, for crying out loud. Don't even let Gavin Newsom, who killed one in California, get in your way. Get it built, getting done, and the passengers will come. The railroads of dreams. Go. Because otherwise, what we are looking at here is already, there's all this chatter that, yes, Joe, yes, great coelacanth, oh mighty president who's proving less than mighty, or had a game plan after Alito's memo leaked to go and restore all those rights overnight, which should have been done. They're already talking, well, who should we run instead in 2024? Jockeying has begun. The more Newsom denies he's running, the more he obviously is. And now all these different corporate punditoids planning all these articles. Hey, what about Hillary? It's her time, says one. It's time for Hillary. Is that really all you have to offer besides constructive action on all these things and many more? Look, it could still go either way, but if it's really a landslide and a bloodbath this fall, and Trump amok, neo-Nazi DeSantis and Josh Hawley and Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene type Republicans really roar in as never before, to the point where they have veto-proof majorities, and then they can already enact a national abortion ban. You can't veto it. Ban contraception. Ban being LGBTQ+++ in any way at all. It might even have the majorities to impeach Biden again and again and again. Hey, impeach Harris too. We can charge him with violating civil rights by having people wear masks or trying to get people to get vaccinated, anything at all, because hey, we've got 2/3 now. We can impeach him on anything we want, get both of them at the same time, and then guess who's president? Kevin McCarthy. Or if he doesn't get the speakership because of the well-founded fears he's too damn dumb and enough of them think he isn't right-wing enough, we could be seriously looking at President Jim Jordan. Yeah. Gotta fight now. Gotta fight now to get things done.